Hey, good morning, everyone. How you guys doing? It's me, your boy Ryan Flowers, aka Clutch Sports Talk, and welcome to another live edition of NFL Sunday Wake Up with me. Man, it's week 4 already. We are just motoring through the NFL season, and as usual, we got lots to talk about today. But before we get started, make sure if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel here at the Clutch Sports Talk podcast on YouTube as well as the Grid Network, you guys are missing out, and we appreciate the support. But like I said, we got lots to talk about today. We're going to talk about some early MVP candidates. I'm going to run through some guys. Let me guys know what you guys think. If there's anyone I'm missing out, please let me know. Then we're going to talk about the Dallas Cowboys. I have to. It's time to panic if you are a Cowboys fan. And I know some of you are a little delusional out there thinking that they still got a chance, but I'll break it down why they don't, and it's definitely time to panic. Then we're going to move on to my power rankings going into week 4, or talk about week 4, and then go over some game previews and predictions and wrap up the show with my clutch picks of the week. You guys don't want to miss out, so strap in, get tight, get ready to go. This is Clutch Sports Talk, NFL Sunday Wake Up with me, Ryan Flowers. You guys know what to do. Let's go. Hey, good morning once again, man. Hope you guys are doing all right. It's Sunday morning here, 8 o'clock a.m. on the West Coast, 11 a.m. on the Eastern seaport there. Hope you guys are doing all right, man. Like I said, we are a quarter, almost like I guess you can say a quarter way through the season, and it's just moving along. Like I always say every week, almost every show, every year I do this. It's like, man, where does the time go? But as usual, man, I'm here to get you guys ready for all the games for week 4, leading you up to the final matchup tomorrow night, Monday Night Football. And we'll get things started. So first things first, like I said before, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you do so now. I really appreciate it. And make sure you drop a comment. If you're watching right now, make sure you guys drop a comment. Let me know you guys liking what you're seeing or you want to see something else. It is what it is, but I'm open to anything. So appreciate you guys for doing so. But let's talk about some early MVP candidates. I feel like there are about 3 or 4 guys I think that have just kind of caught my attention. And I'll start in Buffalo. I'll start with a guy named Josh Allen. Now, his team is 3-0. They have a big matchup tonight against the Baltimore Ravens on Sunday Night Football. They got to travel to Baltimore. And this is one of those types of games, although I know the Ravens are only 1-2, right? But Ravens are still considered a team in the AFC, right? I think they're going to get things going. But nonetheless, Josh Allen has really, really compelled his team to this 3-0 start. He's literally putting the team on his back. Now, he's not doing it all, right? But he's definitely the key player on this particular Buffalo Bills team. Now, he's playing at a high level right now. He's minimizing his turnovers, making really good plays late in games. They've beaten some really good, they beat some, I guess I don't say really good teams, but teams that, we thought that maybe might be pose a challenge to them, especially that Monday game, or was it a Monday night game or a Sunday night game? I forgot it was against the Dolphins when Tua suffered that concussion again, but still, and he's doing it without truly a number 1 wide receiver in Stephon Diggs. He's just finding ways to win. So for me, Josh Allen, his performance right now, would I say he's the number 1? Maybe. I mean, it depends on who you talk to, but he might be, the early odds-on favorite to win the MVP. And I know it's only week 4. We still have a lot of season to talk about, but I'm just talking about early MVP candidates, and Josh Allen is definitely one. So you guys stay tuned and see what happens with him, especially after tonight. If he goes into Baltimore and they win this game and he plays really, really well, there's really, he's got to be one of the front runners, if not the front runner. Okay, so Josh Allen, one of the early front runners. Another guy at quarterback, bounced around the league, was drafted by the Jets. And we all know what happens when you get drafted by the Jets, especially at the quarterback position. A lot of times it just doesn't really work out. And that's Sam Darnold for the Minnesota Vikings. He right now, I believe, is leading the league in touchdowns as from a quarterback perspective, throwing touchdowns with 8. If I'm not mistaken, let me know in the chat if you guys know. I think that's a true fact. But definitely playing right now. He's got his team playing well too. Minnesota really looking good. Last week they were a contender. They basically shellacked the Texans at home, making them a contender, not a pretender. Again, it's still early, but just given Sam Darnold's pedigree, me personally, I'm a USC fan, born and raised in Los Angeles, California, not too far from USC. The talent was there. But like I said before, when you go to a dysfunctional organization like the Jets, it doesn't work out. So he went there, didn't really pan out. Bounced around, went to, I believe, Carolina. Now, I think the time spent in San Francisco really benefited his career. learning under Kyle Shanahan. I know he didn't play a lot, obviously, because Brock Purdy was there. But I think it really got him prepared for what we're seeing now. And now he's with a team. He's the guy. I mean, some luck. I mean, listen, here's the thing. JJ McCarthy was drafted for this team, and there was probably a good chance that he might have started. Who knows, right? If he doesn't go down. Sam Darnold was trying to compete for that job. He didn't really have to compete because McCarthy's out for the year. So here you go. Now, 3-0 later, he's looking like an early MVP candidate. And I think the sky's the limit. And again, just like Josh Allen, today is another kind of game, and not important just for the Vikings themselves. I was talking to my good friend about this yesterday, about the Vikings, but actually for Sam Darnold too. You go on the road to Green Bay, and I think Jordan Love is going to play. And we'll talk about this game a little bit later. If you go into Green Bay and you perform really well and you get a win, I mean, it's going to be hard for people to say anything other than the fact that he probably should be an MVP candidate. I know some people are like, come on, man, like really? Sam Darnold's like, hey, out of all the guys that are playing right now at the quarterback position, he's one of the best ones right now. And I know, I get it. It's week 4, right? But definitely he's doing a really good job. And the Minnesota Vikings are still 3-0 with a big matchup, a divisional matchup today against the Packers. Okay. All right. Switch gears. Let's talk about a defensive guy. It's not Myles Garrett. It's definitely not Micah Parsons. I'm talking about TJ Watt from the Pittsburgh Steelers. My boy Bryson Carver's favorite team in the whole entire world, probably the best football club for him. TJ Watt, man, listen, anytime I throw on a Steelers game and they're on defense, I can look up and just know that TJ Watt is going to make a play at some point. Now, he leads this team on the defensive side. Every week, it is just some type of stellar contribution, whether it's a batted pass, a crucial sack, a crucial tackle for loss, a fumble, something. I mean, honestly, man, like, I can't think of anyone as dominant as he is and very impactful, right? I know Myles Garrett is definitely one of the greatest pass rushers we've had in the last 10 years, right? I get that. Micah Parsons, when he decides to play well, like, he could be that dominant, but nobody to me is as consistent. And maybe my eyes are wrong, and correct me if I'm wrong, but my eyes tell me anytime I throw on Pittsburgh Steelers football, TJ Watt is just there. He shows up every play. The only problem here, he gets hurt a lot, but when he's on the field, he's on the field. So and here's the thing: the Pittsburgh Steelers, they have to rely a lot on the defense. The offense kind of had a little awakening last week, but definitely this team is going to be basically be put on the shoulders of the defense, or the defense will have to shoulder the load. So I got to throw a defensive player like him in there. So TJ Watt, one of my early MVP candidates. Another guy who switched teams, who I thought might have not been as effective, and I'll be the first to admit, but he's definitely been effective for his team throughout the first couple of weeks here, and that's Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley. I mean, what they've been able to do with him, across, Eagles fans are crossing their fingers this guy doesn't get hurt, but he's scoring multiple touchdowns. He had multiple touchdowns last week, and then in the game in Brazil against the Packers, he kind of threw that game over the top for them. So he's definitely playing well. Off the rest of the team offensively, it's kind of a little shaky there, because Jalen Hurts, but Saquon Barkley has been really consistent. And as I guess I won't say a former Cowboys fan, but as a guy that supports the Cowboys for so many years, Philadelphia is not a team, or anyone on that team is just someone I want to support, but I got to put him in the talks for early MVP candidacy because he's definitely playing at an MVP caliber, right? So Saquon Barkley definitely for the Philadelphia Eagles doing this thing. Now, got to knock on wood, right? This fool doesn't get hurt, but definitely he's really showing his colors here in the new threads in Philadelphia. All right. Final guy, some of you might be like, what? Like, what? How the hell is this guy even on the list? Patrick Mahomes, listen, man. They're still 3-0. I get it. They're not, just hear me out. They're not playing at the high level that they're supposed to. At least we all expected them to be. They got so many weapons now that we think Travis Kelce hasn't really been himself, right? And honestly, man, he might be a shell of himself. I get it. Or he's saving himself for the playoffs. I don't know. But Patrick Mahomes, to me, it's still got to be up there. He's still, if not the best quarterback in the National Football League. He's still one of the more dynamic players in the league. I do expect this team to improve offensively. We've seen this year in and year out. They have these slow starts, and then eventually they will find their rhythm, and Patrick Mahomes will be right there in the middle of it all. Now, do I have him high on this list? No, I don't, but I respect them too much to not have him on the list. Okay, so some people may think I'm crazy, but I don't think I am. I think at some point they are going to figure it out. They always do. At least the last 2-3 seasons, they always do this, and we always have conversations. We have shows like this. Well, oh, the Chiefs, it's time to panic, and what's happening? And next, January, and then in February they're hoisting the Lombardi Trophy. So I don't put anything past this team at this point anymore. Coaching is way too good. Patrick Mahomes is an elite quarterback. He will figure it out. He will definitely figure it out. And I know, they're still trying to figure out Xavier Worthy, what he does and how they can utilize him, things of that nature. Listen, it's not Madden, folks. You can't just get a guy. And I get it. I think a lot from that first game against Baltimore where Worthy just kind of had those miraculous plays that were very dynamic and robust. Haven't really heard much from him since, right? I think they're still trying to figure him out. Travis Kelce I'm telling you, he's going to figure it out. I get it. He looks a little overweight, looks a little slow, not digging the mustache, not digging the whole Taylor Swift thing right now. Maybe that could be affecting him. I don't know, right? But they will figure it out. And his defense is there to keep him up. But I still want to recognize him because I respect him that much that if I didn't have a list with him on it, at least as an MVP candidate, I would be remiss. So Chiefs fans, you guys know better than anybody. They're going to get it going. And once they get it going, everyone's going to be like, oh, Patrick Mahomes, oh, yeah, we remember you. Well, you heard it here first. I didn't forget. And I'm not even a Chiefs fan. But I'm not stupid either. Like, I'm not going to put this team aside or this quarterback aside just because he's struggling just a little bit. But he's still finding ways to win, still making key plays down the stretch for these games. So that's another part of it, too, why I have him on the list. So there you have it. We got Josh Allen, Sam Darnold, Saquon Barkley, Patrick Mahomes. Let me know. Is there somebody else that I'm missing? Maybe Dak Prescott. I don't know. You could throw them in there. I know, they're what's their record now? They're 1-2-1, 2-1. No. I'm 2-2. Excuse me, 2-2 now. So, and for the Dak haters out there, just to throw this out there, I mean, it really ain't his fault why they losing. I mean, just saying. I'm just saying. So, and I'm not a Dak homer. I respect Dak, but like, this is be real. He's not part of the problem so far as of yet. So we'll see when they start playing some tougher teams. But yeah, so honorable mention, I guess. I was thinking Derek Carr, but then they got shellacked. I don't want to say shellacked, but the game against the Saints. The Eagles. So there's some other guys out there, but those are my guys right now. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. All right, changing gears, man. Let's talk about America's team, right? The Dallas Cowboys, and why it's time to panic if you are a Cowboys fan, like a blue blood Dallas Cowboys fan, and why you gotta wake up, you gotta smell the coffee, and you gotta move off on this team. You better sell their stock immediately. Number one, I see a lot on social media right now. Oh, they won. Win is a win, and I get that. The National Football League is hard, and you have to appreciate every win that you get. Because wins just don't come easy, like unless you're on a certain team, right? Like the Chiefs or somebody like that. But the downside, I feel like that game was a Pyrrhic victory. Look it up. What a Pyrrhic victory is. Basically, you win despite having all these negative things happen to you. Micah Parsons got injured. He might miss some time. All right. And your defense is already kind of weak as it is. DeMarcus Lawrence definitely going to miss some time. You're already out. You're already without Deron Bland. You don't have no real depth, right? Trayvon Diggs had to go out a little bit towards the end of that game. I guess he was cramping, so he might be okay, right? Offensively, outside of CeeDee Lamb, and here's the thing. I think we all knew this. Unless you are that delusional, you cannot tell me that you thought that this offense was going to be potent. It just wasn't. Outside of CeeDee Lamb, who else is out there that's dynamic? Oh, Tolbert. Oh, man, the guy's been in the league 3-4 years out of South Alabama. He is what he is now. Don't get me this. Oh, he's still developing. No, it don't work like that. You know from the jump if a guy is a guy or not, right? He may be a solid player, but he's not anybody that I'm like, oh, I got to hang my hat on, right? Brandon Cooks, come on, like, come on, Ferguson, like, come on. They have no running game to talk about. Rico Dowdle is your best guy. Bringing back Zeke, that's laughable. Like who in the hell thought that when you brought back Zeke that you're getting 2016 Zeke or whenever he was like, come on, man, come on, like this team. I'll tell you right now, if CeeDee Lamb goes down, they are cooked. I mean, they're cooked now. In my opinion, they're cooked now because Dak can't do it all by himself. Defense is still, I still think is a problem, right? Good teams will know, hey, just run the football. Just run the football. And if Mike is there, run at him because he ain't stopping the run, right? He's busy getting blocked and then want to go talk about it on his podcast and call other people out. But here's the thing about true leadership, man. And this is what I don't really like about Micah Parsons. And it really annoys me about him is that he's not a true leader. Okay. He's not. He's a fake leader. You don't call people out on your podcast. You don't even talk about anybody else. You just this is why I don't really agree with these guys, active players having podcasts, is because you kind of sound retarded. And excuse my language, but yeah, it's like you're busy worried about that, but then you guys are getting your cheeks clapped against these other teams. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. So, and trust me, I'm speaking with a lot of conviction. Why? Because I've supported this team for over 30 plus years, and I've seen this every year. And it always starts. It don't matter who's the quarterback, who you bring in as coach. It don't matter. It doesn't matter, folks. Wake up and understand it's the ownership. It's the ownership. And then you got Jerry talking about, the Ravens game. Oh, well, we couldn't afford Henry. Well, you could afford what you want to afford. You can do some financial gymnastics and work things out. And they didn't. And now I'm hearing reports, they're going to try to get Hassan Reddick. No, they're not. No, they're not. They're not doing anything. They're not going to do a damn thing. Okay? So just get over it. Just get over it. So is it time to panic? Yeah, it's definitely time to panic because there's really no there's no light at the end of the tunnel for them. The Commanders look better than what we thought or expected. Hell, they almost lost to the Giants. Okay? The Giants. That was a close game. Oh, Ryan. Hold on one second, y'all. I got these allergies. But, Ryan, it's a divisional game, blah, blah, blah. I get it. And I know those games can go a little bit closer. But come on, man. Like we thought it was Eagles, then Cowboys, and it was kind of like, okay, everybody. But, like, these teams are not that far off. I guarantee you Commanders will probably get these fools, right? And I get it. They've had the Giants number for quite some time. So, but still, that game was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. So, the plight of the Cowboys to me, man, it's just comical. Every year, this fan base, and it used to include myself, we would get like, oh man, this is our year, man. This is our team. I look at this roster, man. It's a booty roster. It really is, man. It's like, again, outside of CeeDee Lamb, that's it. And then we have stars like again, I'm really on Micah Parsons. It's like, and even Dak too, to an extent. We got stars that don't show up when they need to show up, right? So they're situational superstars. Okay. When we need them in the postseason, where are they at? I don't know. All right, we got a comment here from Ben Conant. He says, at this point, should the Cowboys fans panic at all? They're not winning a Super Bowl, regardless of how good or bad they are. Pardon me there. Yeah. I mean, only delusional fans will go into this rest of the year and be like, oh, yeah, we got a chance, man. If there's games to be played, we got a chance. Don't even waste your time. Don't even waste your time. You're just going to get more upset. And that's where I'm at. And you become a disgruntled Cowboys fan like I have become because I'm over it. I'm over it. I'm just over it. So, and I'm over this team already. So I support some of the guys. Like, I like Dak, but this team, I don't know. Sorry, guys. Allergies are killing me this morning. But yeah. So, all right. Moving on. Because, the Cowboys, I'm allergic to them now because they're making me sneeze, as you guys can see. All right. Let's talk about some early power rankings here going into week 4. At number one, I still got the Chiefs. Again, people might think, "Oh, you're not a Chiefs. You say you're not a Chiefs fan," but I'm not really. But hold on, man, I'm sneezing like crazy today. Okay, sorry about that, guys. All right, so moving on. Chiefs fans, listen, I know they haven't looked that impressive. 3 narrow victories. A lot of these games decided like in the last minute. It seemed like whether it's a field goal, some type of crucial play at the end. But I got to keep up number one. They hadn't lost. They're still the defending champ. So what? All right, cry me a river. Start your own show. Talk about it yourself. All right. Um, strong defense from this team. I think this defense is still really. It's like a no-name defense. I give them that. But I mean, guys like Nick Bolton, Chris Jones, McDuffie, these are really. I know McDuffie is a well-known player, but even Chris Jones. But this team, I still right now they're relying on the defense, which is okay. I mean, it's a team game, so I like that. I talked about their offensive struggles. We haven't really seen the big plays that we've kind of used to, at least from every now and then, but we haven't seen a lot of it yet. So they're still kind of dinking and dunking down the field. But again, I think that ship's going to get righted at some point. But I still think at the end of the day, Mahomes is still one of the most effective players in the National Football League. So I got them at number one. Buffalo, I mean, dominating performance last week against Jacksonville. I mean, literally beat the brakes off of those boys. All right. Josh Allen, like I said, he's one of my top leaders right now in the MVP race right now. Dalton Kincaid playing really well. I know Keon Coleman, he's still developing there. I believe he scored his first touchdown last week, if I'm not mistaken. And who knows? DeMar Hamlin. I mean, shout out to him, man. He got an interception. Who would have thought, man? This guy literally died on the field. Recovered, and he's playing in the National Football League and got him an interception. So shout out to him. This team, man, people are sleeping on them still. They don't, unlike the Cowboys too, they don't really have that much talent, but they're just a better ran organization. They got the right guys there. So that's what I like about the Buffalo Bills. All right, number 3, I like the Minnesota Vikings. Listen, back-to-back wins against playoff teams, 49ers. And the Texans, so gotta get them love for that. And honestly, if you think about it, if you go back to that Niners game, they probably should have blew them out. A couple plays here and there, but that would have been 2 back-to-back weeks. You blew out 2 playoff teams, 2 teams that people keep or have in high regard, right? We all think, or at least up until the injuries, the Niners had a clear path to the Super Bowl. I don't know about that right now, right? They're not even on the list. I know they got some injuries. They'll probably get back on this list in the next couple of weeks. And then you look at the Texans, people are like, oh, they're up and coming. CJ Stroud. They added some guys. They got Diggs. They got Mixon. And they go to Minnesota and get scolded. Right? So I really like what the Minnesota Vikings, and like I said, they got a big matchup today against Green Bay. We'll talk about that later. All right, number 4, I got the Lions. Jared Goff looked better last week in a pretty impressive performance against the Arizona Cardinals. I thought that game was going to be a shootout, but it wasn't. But the defense stepped up, and they limited Kyler Murray, so kudos for them. And this offense the Lions offense is pretty dynamic. You still got Gibbs, you got Amon-Ra St. Brown, Williams. He's over the top threat, deep threat. So I like what they did last week. Philadelphia, I got to give them some love too, coming in at number 5. Like, they rebounded after that Monday night loss to the Falcons. Again, they should have won. This team literally arguably could be 3-0 at this point. And then they go into New Orleans, who are hot as ever. And then they really, I mean, they only give up 12 points, if I'm not mistaken. That defense, and I said this defense had been struggling the last couple of weeks too. So shout out to them. But the only thing about them is the coaching. Is I don't really trust Nick Sirianni. Hold on one second, y'all. I'm sneezing again. Okay, sorry about that. I'm back live. That's what live TV will do for you. But anyway, allergies are killing me. All right. But like I said, Eagles coaching gonna be an issue for me. I got the Houston Texans. They slid down. They were higher for me last week, but definitely struggling. Losing to Minnesota the way they did, not a good look, especially if you were trying to say you're to move up. And right now, with the Chiefs and Baltimore, or at least Baltimore not playing well. They're 1-2 right now. They got a tough matchup against the Bills tonight. Like Texans, they really are in a position to try to, if they can turn it around, or not turn it around, but fix a couple things, get that offensive going. They struggled a little bit last week, especially with penalties. They could be one of the teams we talk about in the AFC coming out, at least being a number one seed. So, I'm not overly concerned, but right now I'm worried about the timing issue when the throw in the passing game. And I think CJ Stroud, he's a competitor. He'll fix that out. All right, 7, I got the Seattle Seahawks. Dismantle Miami. Listen, Miami's in trouble, right? I know that. I think they're starting Tyler Huntley today. We'll talk about their matchup later on. But last week, Seattle just obliterated these fools. I still like their offense. Geno Smith is playing really solid football right now. But kind of like the Texans, penalties too. A lot of penalties. And you can't do that when you start playing high quality caliber like teams. And their schedule is starting to get a little bit harder. It starts this week. They're on the road in Detroit Monday night. So they got to limit those penalties. But I still like them overall. Number 8 is the Saints. I mean, listen, I think this offense is still potent. I think they just had a bad game. But I don't want to hold too much against them. But I still think that they're in a good position to make some noise, maybe in the NFC, maybe win the NFC South. Number 9, I got the Pittsburgh Steelers, really because their defense. They're 3-0, right? Justin Fields playing really well, right? But offensively, when they start playing better teams too, teams that can score the football, and I know their defense is elite, but at some point, you're going to need your offense to make a play or two. I mean, that's just what it is. But I will say this, their schedule is manageable. They got the Cowboys next week, which they should beat the Cowboys. I mean, just run the football. Like, that's the blueprint. Just beat the Cowboys next week, Sunday Night Football. And they got another couple manageable games for me that I think they should win, especially divisional games against the Ravens too, a team that they play really well. And then rounding out my top 10 is the Green Bay Packers. Listen, what they've been able to do without Jordan Love, and I think he comes back today. Let me know in the comment. Is he active? Last time I checked, I thought he was scheduled to play. I don't know. Those things change. But the way they've been able to play the last 2 weeks with Malik Willis and whole serve, it's pretty remarkable. And I think they should probably continue to use that formula. Just because Jordan Love's back, don't just throw out the playbook and just start throwing crazy. Like, maybe you guys should run the football a little bit more. You got guys that can run the football. So I really like what they were able to do the last 2 weeks, because honestly, we all thought they were. Well, I don't say we all thought, but some people probably thought, well, damn, I had them as a Super Bowl favorite. Now Jordan Love is out. They might lose the next 2-3 games in a row, but they didn't. Malik Willis, I'll be the big man and just say, I did not think he can play in the National Football League, but he did his thing the last couple of weeks while Jordan Love was out due to injury. Sorry, y'all. He's on injury. Allergies. All right, so there you have it. Those are my power rankings. Let me know what you guys think there. Let's talk about some matchups here. Obviously, the Cowboys game took place, so no, we don't need to talk about that. But let's talk about Pittsburgh at Indianapolis. Listen, Pittsburgh is definitely one of the most unlikely 3-0 teams at this point. Did not know what to make of this team going into the season. You had two quarterbacks, Justin Fields, Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson was injured. Justin Fields gets to start Atlanta, and the rest is history. And now it looks like Russell Wilson is a backup for now, unless Justin Fields just starts to play really horribly, or he gets hurt himself. But the defense is really carrying this team, and I know they had an awakening last week offensively against the Chargers, but for sure, there's no doubt about it. This team is led by their head coach, Mike Tomlin, and their defense led by TJ Watt. So the Colts struggling, man. I really had high hopes for this team. I really did. So I know they got a win last week, but Anthony Richardson is just so inconsistent. And I think he's going to have problems today against this defense at home. That's why I like the Pittsburgh Steelers to win this game, because I don't know what I'm going to get from Anthony Richardson. I really wanted to root for this kid. I mean, I guess I can still root for him, but he's not very accurate, and he just turns the ball over way too much. He's just inconsistent. Now, he will wow you with a deep ball here or there, but overall, not someone that I want to put a whole lot of faith in right now especially managing that offense. So I like the Steelers in this game. All right, Jaguars at Texans. Jaguars, really, man, if you have any pulse or heartbeat, you guys will rise up in a divisional game like this. You're on the road. They got smoked Monday night in Buffalo. And they're on the road again against a team that they got smoked in their own right against Minnesota. This is an AFC South divisional rivalry game here. CJ Stroud, offense looked shaky last week. A lot of penalties. I don't know if it could have been the noise level in that stadium at US Bank Stadium in Minnesota. But I honestly, Trevor Lawrence, if not one of the most overrated, overhyped quarterbacks we have right now in the National Football League. He looks the part. Don't get me wrong. He's the guy when he comes off the bus, you see the long hair. He's tall. He's a big guy. Pause. He looks like a prototypical quarterback, but the guy's, man, you can't make any more excuses for the guy. It's time to put up or shut up. I like the Texans at home to bounce back after their loss last week to the Minnesota Vikings. So I think they're good, and I think Joe Mixon's back today. So I think they'll get it going. All right, Rams at Bears. Listen, Rams, great come from behind win last week against a divisional rival in the 49ers. Right now, they take they take their show on the road to Chicago, whose offense is just still anemic. Here's the thing: the Bears got a good defense. I really think their defense is good. It's just their offense, man. And it starts with the offensive line and then the quarterback not playing great right now. I think a lot of emphasis was made that, they added all these guys on the outside, but they did not improve the offensive line, and that's showing. I don't think Matt Eberflus is a good head coach. I think he's in over his head. I don't think he understands what he needs to get done, especially offensively. Shane Waldron, too, is coming under fire, too. Because they got talent, but again, you can't protect, you can't keep your quarterback upright, you can't make plays, and that's what we're seeing. Now, the Rams are depleted. They are depleted, but the grit that they showed last week, I feel like Sean McVay is still a very good head coach. I like the Rams in an upset. This is one of my clutch picks of the week. I like them in an upset. I guess it's a close upset, I believe, but I like them as underdogs into this game. I'm gonna ride with them. I'm gonna ride with them just because I feel like they got the better quarterback right now. Although who was he throwing to, right? And they got the better coach. So I like that combination. So I'm gonna go with the Rams. Bengals at Panthers. Listen, Andy Dalton did his thing, and I know some people are saying, "Oh, well, Bryce Young is still young, yada yada yada." But man, it's hard to believe that. And I get it. Andy Dalton's a veteran. He's been in the league, right? And he's had success when he was with Cincinnati. But man, that offense looked way better last week than it ever has in the last 18 games under Bryce Young. Now they got the reeling Bengals who are coming off a Monday night loss to the Commanders. This is, if the Bengals lose this game, they're done. I think they're done anyway. They're 0-3. I forgot what the percentage of the teams that go 0-3 make the play. It's very low, very low. But if you lose this game, you might as well start planning your end of season trip to Cabo, right? Because, and I'll say this, I think this is going to be a competitive game. Who would have thought in one sentence you would put competitive and the Panthers in one sentence? I would have never thought that, but this is going to be a competitive game. I don't know. Am I crazy? I guess, you know what? I'm going to take the Panthers, man. They're coming home. I think they got some juice coming off of that great win last week against the Las Vegas Raiders. The Bengals just look in disarray. Now, I know they got their guys back, Jamar Chase, and just playing better. They were able to connect, but that defense, man, they got torched. They got torched last week. So my gut's telling me Bengals, but my heart's saying Panthers. I'm going to go with the Panthers. We'll see how that plays out for me later on. All right, in a big divisional game in the NFC North, we got the Vikings at the Packers. All reports indicate that Jordan Love is going to play. And that makes a difference too. But, man, I don't know. He may be a little bit rusty. I like the Vikings. I like the Vikings in this one. I think they got more continuity right now. If you want to put yourself on a pedestal right now to claim, right now the NFC is no one knows who's the number one team right now, right? It was San Francisco. You go out and you beat Green Bay on the road. The Vikings are the top team in the NFC. So I think they're going to take that. I think they're going to ride. I think they understand that. Kevin O'Connell understands that this team is right there. I don't think they're pretenders anymore. I think they're definitely contenders, barring any type of injury or a catastrophic situation. I think they're contenders. If you win this game today, which I believe they will, because I'm going to ride with the Vikings, this puts them up there as one of the top teams in the NFC. Let me know if I'm wrong. Am I crazy? So the way they get after it on defense, Jordan Love coming off of that injury, I don't know, man. I think the Packers are going to be good. Don't worry, even if they lose this game, right? It's just going to take some time, but I like the Vikings. I like the Vikings in this game, so I'm gonna pick them. Saints at the Falcons. This is an interesting one too, because this is a battle for NFC South. Because right now Tampa Bay, they struggled last week against Denver, and now Saints. We saw what happened to them. Falcons. I believe they lost too, right? Didn't they lose? Yeah, they lost to Kansas City Sunday night. So all those teams in the NFC South, they lost. So they're all looking to kind of jock for that position there. So the Falcons, they're in. I think we still expect them to just throw it all over the field. Kirk Cousins still feeling his way out. The teams, they kind of mirror each other in a weird way to me. As far as when you look at their stats and the margins and things of that era, but this is going to boil down to defense. Who will have the better defense in the end? I don't know, man. I struggled with this one even on my NFL matchup show. If you will go make sure you guys check that out on YouTube. But I struggle. I don't know. I think they both have prolific offenses, or they can. I'm going to go with the Saints. I think I'm going to go with the Saints in this particular game. Although Atlanta Falcons are at home, I think the Saints have the better opportunity. I think, and I could be wrong, but I'm not going to flip flop. I'm going to go with the Saints. Although I think this game should be close, but it's going to boil down to whoever maybe has the ball last or gets the last stop might win this game. All right, Eagles at Buccaneers in a rematch of last year's, I believe, a divisional round or wild card where the Buccaneers just smoked the Eagles. AJ Brown, I think, is still questionable. I think Devontae Smith is out due to concussion. Still got Saquon Barkley though. Tampa Bay, they need to get their act together. I'm gonna go with the Bucs today, because here's the thing: I still don't believe in Nick Sirianni still, and Jalen Hurts in the turnovers. I think that's going to cost them at some point. They're on the road. It's going to be hot in Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay and Baker Mayfield, they're a little upset. They shouldn't have lost to the Broncos the way they did. So I think they're going to right the ship this week, and I think it's going to be a close game. But I'm going to go with the Buccaneers, even though they're the underdogs even at home. But I'm going to go with the Buccaneers at home. Broncos and Jets. Listen, I know the Broncos are riding high. Good win against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last week. I believe they stayed out on the East Coast. And they got to go play the Jets now. The Jets, this is a pivotal game for them, because the last time we saw them, they played the Patriots. And we were like, oh, wow, they're looking pretty good, looking solid, right? So this is another step towards them improving and getting Aaron Rodgers comfortable in the offense. And for God's sakes, Garrett Wilson, please change the sleeves on the jersey, man. You look like you have no swag, bro. Like, I don't know why that bothers me so much, but it does. You are a top tier wide receiver. And I'm just not digging it. I'm not digging it. So please. But anyway, I digress. But listen, Broncos, Bo Nix showed some grit, some explosiveness last week. But I think the Jets defense is coming along. It's getting better. Could they use a Hassan Reddick? Yeah, they could. But obviously they're not. They don't have him. So I like the Jets in this matchup to get against the Broncos. So I'll take the Jets there. Commanders and their Cardinals. This should be a fun game too. Jane Daniels, stellar performance last night. It was kind of like his welcome to the NFL type of moment there. He got the job done in a win against the Commanders. Arizona kind of got slowed down last week against Detroit. I look for them to bounce back. I know Trey McBride is out. That's a huge injury for them. He's their steady vertical threat from the tight end position. They're going to have to maybe force the ball a little bit more to Marvin Harrison Jr. Kyler Murray's going to have to pick up the slack there. For some reason, though, I like the Commanders in this game. I think the Commanders are better than what people thought. They're not going to wow you. They don't have a lot of great dynamic players outside of Terry McLaurin. But if Jaden Daniels can play how he played last week and continue that, they're going to be tough. They're going to be a tough out. I like the Commanders on the road in Arizona to get the win. All right, Browns and Raiders, teams that are both coming off of just stupid losses. I mean, the Browns to the Giants and then the Raiders. How you lose to Carolina? Right? So that's what we're all thinking. Head coach in the media calling out guys, which is to me is not a great look, but that it is what it is. And the Raiders are without Devontae Adams and Max Crosby today. This is a no-brainer to me. I took the Browns early. I was on the Browns even before Devontae and Max Crosby were going to be out. But if the Raiders have any type of heart, man, you better put up a fight, right? But we'll see how it goes. So I'm taking the Browns in this one. All right, Patriots at the 49ers. And this one might be closer than what we think. I mean, the Niners, my gosh. They were up in that game last week, and you lose, in what they call Levi South in SoFi Stadium. I mean, the only thing that's keeping me from saying like the Patriots really have a chance is because they just can't move the football at all. They are so bad at offense that it's embarrassing that they even, I don't even know. So in that regard, I still think that the Niners still have better playmakers on the offensive side of things. So let's give me the 49ers to win this game just because of the fact that, let me change my slide here. Sorry about that. The 49ers just really, the Patriots just have no offense. They just have no offense whatsoever. So give me the 49ers. All right. Chiefs at Chargers divisional game. Justin Herbert still nursing an ankle injury, right? Kansas City really ain't been looking that great on offensively. That's been noted, but honestly, it don't matter. They have their way against this team, right? So I like the Chiefs. I like the Chiefs to get to 4-0. I don't know if they'll have enough, the Chargers in the tank. Just running the football consistently against the team ain't going to be enough. You're going to have to throw the ball down the field at some point. And that means Justin Herbert's going to have to drop back on that bum ankle and be exposed to guys like Chris Jones, things of that nature. So I like the Chiefs in this matchup to win that game. All right, Bills and Ravens Sunday Night Football there. This one I think is going to be this is an early playoff implication game for both of these teams who may see each other down the line here. On paper, these are the two of the top clubs in the AFC, and I get it. Ravens are 1-2 right now, but before going into the season, it was like the Chiefs and then Bills or Ravens, depending on how you wanted to call it. Ravens coming off of it was going to be a good win, but then they kind of let the Cowboys back into the game. I think they let their foot off the gas, but now they come back home to the bank, M&T Bank Stadium, and you got Josh Allen coming in. So I'm going with Buffalo. I think Josh Allen is the real deal. He literally is just doing it all by himself. So I'm going to take Buffalo. I think it'll be a close game. This may go down by a field goal, but I'm going with the Buffalo Bills on the road in Sunday Night Football. All right, and then for our final two matchups of the week, we got the Tennessee Titans at Miami. Tennessee, if you don't win this game on the road against Tyler Huntley, the third-string quarterback who was just picked up literally off a practice squad, you guys have serious problems, and you probably should just forfeit the rest of the year. So I don't have to say anything else. Miami's on their third-string quarterback, and if you have fantasy players like Tyreek Hill and I have Jalen Waddle, you're cooked. You're screwed. And that's really the problem. They won't be able to put up any points. They won't be able to sustain drives. That defense is going to be on the field quite a bit. And granted, Will Levis is going to give you an interception or two. It won't be enough. Tennessee better win this game. So I'm taking Tennessee to win that game, even though the Dolphins are favorite at home, but I don't see how. But that's how much they think of Will Levis from Vegas, is that the Dolphins are on their third-string quarterback, a guy that it was a practice squad player on another team, that they still have Miami as favorites in this game. That's crazy to me. So that just tells you everything you need to know. But I'm gonna take the Tennessee Titans to win this game, just because they have, I guess, a resemblance of a starting quarterback. And listen, Tyler Huntley, he's played some games in the National Football League. And the crazy thing about that, this guy was a Pro Bowler not that long ago, which, that's a whole nother conversation for another day. But either way, all right. And then the last matchup, Seattle, a big matchup against Detroit on Monday Night Football. This is one of those games where people are like, all right, Seattle, if you guys want to be real, you want to be taken seriously, you better go out and win this game. This is a playoff team. You can't just beat the Broncos and the Patriots and who did they have last week? The Dolphins, who were down to their backup quarterback. Like this is a game. You want to make a statement to let people know, like, hey, you guys are here. This is a game. Like I said, Detroit looked really good last week. Against the Cardinals. But you know what? I don't know. I am going to go with the Detroit Lions still in this game. I still don't quite believe. I like what Seattle can do on offense, but I just there's something about them still. But I'm going to go with Detroit to win this game on the road. At home to wrap up week 4. All right. All right, so there you have it. Those are my games preview and predictions. So let's talk about my clutch picks of the week. 1-0 right now. Cowboys narrowly got out of there. MetLife, they won that game on Thursday. I like the Rams in the on the road against Chicago. Of course, I've taken the Browns, and I got the Bills to wrap up that. So there you have it. That's it for NFL Sunday Wake Up, man. Appreciate you guys for tapping in. Not a lot of comments today, but I appreciate the ones that did. Appreciate you guys for stopping by. Other than that, be on the lookout for Wednesday when I drop my NFL matchup show, get you guys ready. Make sure you head over to the Grid Network to subscribe and watch that show there. It's a Grid exclusive show. And also check out the other content creators that we have on the Grid. They're doing big things there. So I'm going to address my allergy issues because I just been having a rough morning. But other than that, I appreciate you guys for stopping by. Until next time, this is your boy Ryan Flowers, a.k.a. Clutch Sports Talk, NFL Sunday Wake Up. Like I always say, never settle till the work is done. We'll see you guys later. Peace.